This week's Weekly Insight is about converting your fears into motivation. I'll be sharing with you just how to do that. But first, did you know we're born with only two fears, the fear of falling and loud noises? The rest is an empty canvas where other fears are simply just learned, usually through events or situations throughout our lives, so our experiences. Now, from a really early age, we're told to take care or to avoid certain things that might lead to negative outcomes. It's these learned fears that can sometimes be to blame for the self-limiting beliefs or expectations that we place on ourselves, especially in relation to our mental health and well-being. Now, we can often let negative self-talk also undermine our confidence to achieve our goals. We might tell ourselves, for example, I'll be no good at this, or I can't, or before, actually even before we've even tried. But what if we could use certain fears about our future as motivation to make positive changes to our lives? The question here is, can our fears fuel our well-being? Now, firstly, what I would like to sort of clear up is that fear is completely normal. It is basic form of human instinct. It's a nature's way of protecting us from harm. But our learned fears can sometimes take over, acting as barriers to stop us from leading the life that we would like to. When we fear a situation or an activity, we may become overwhelmed, we procrastinate, or even avoid the situation altogether, rather than actually deal with it. In doing so, this is where we're denying ourselves of an opportunity. It's about understanding the fears and how it can be used to empower you rather than stop you. So instead of letting these fears hold us back, we can use them as a trigger to action and turn them into a set of challenges to get us motivated. We should also ask ourselves, what's the worst that could happen? Just a simple question. In reality, nothing is ever as bad as we think it will be. So what are we afraid of, and what is stopping you doing what you're doing in your life? Whatever it is, I bet you're not alone, and I know it. So the following steps will help you unlock the motivation to invest in your well-being. So as promised, here are some tips for you to turning your fears into motivation. So number one is choose a fear that you can manage. So start by focusing on the smaller fears, the ones that feel easy to manage, like having to slow down in older age because you're not as physically active as you'd like to be. Once you've proven you can take ownership of these, you can then use the same techniques on the bigger and scarier ones. So latch onto the fear that comes to mind about the future of your health. Once you have that, the second step is to ask yourself, what's behind that fear? So try to picture where the fear comes from and what really lies behind it. When you've identified the true meaning of your fear, you can take the next step. So for example, take the fear of slowing down as you get older. For one person, the meaningful aspect might be the fear of not being able to join in activities with their kids or grandchildren. For someone else, it might be the fear of having to give up something they really enjoy, like a sport or a hobby. So start off small and then slowly dig into the reasons behind it. So this then becomes your motivating fear, the fear that's going to help you move your health and well-being as you move forward into the future. So step 3 is the ownership and sharing. So make yourself accountable by sharing your motivating fears with friends or family. Now, by sharing your intentions to improve your well-being with others will actually help you commit to facing your own or owning those fears. So if you'd rather keep it to yourself, simply write it down, because that can also help, but you must refer to them. Next, create a plan. What actions are you going to take today, tomorrow, next week, and beyond? So again, it's accountability. Try to make a realistic plan that uses fear as a catalyst to change an unhealthy habit. So start by thinking about what you want to improve, like your physical fitness or your mental well-being. If you'd like to be more active, but don't know where to start, then take small steps towards achieving your goal. So by simply getting off the sofa more often, doing some ironing upstairs during the TV time, taking breaks is better than sitting scrolling through your social media. Now, tomorrow, for example, you can also take a walk instead of getting a bus. Next week, you could pick up a pace a bit more. So there's lots of things that you can do. So by making a plan, you will give yourself a sense of responsibility over the action you are going to take, and it will give you greater satisfaction when you start achieving your goals. But how do you start setting yourself goals? It may not feel like it, but if you do this, you will be on your way to owning your fears and improving your health with much greater motivation. You know, you can seek help from coaches and your friends as well. So top 5 tips to make a successful plan and to stick to it. So this is what you need to bear in mind if you struggle with plans. So think about your ultimate goal. Start thinking what you might like if you were to achieve this. For example, if it's to lose some weight, it can be a little overwhelming knowing how to start, where to start, because there is so much advice out there of the best ways to do things. So this can be, you know, off-putting. You know, the first step, there's so much out there, you get overwhelmed. So I would suggest that instead, break it down. So break your goals into manageable chunks, limit yourself to what you research, and focus on your ultimate goal. As we know, Rome wasn't built in a day. So the second part of creating this plan is the SMART plan. So once you've identified the more manageable things that will lead you to achieving that ultimate goal, make sure they are, number 1, okay, specific. It could be as simple as agreeing that you will cut out the afternoon chocolate bar, or even, you know, a smaller piece. Measurable. Think about 30 chocolate bars all piled up at the end of 1 month, and you will feel pleased with yourself that you've not actually touched them. Agreeable. Smaller, more achievable goals will give you a real sense of accomplishment and a spur, you know, on you that you can try more things. The other thing is realistic. Don't make yourself miserable by cutting out everything you love or doing the things that you don't enjoy. Remember, the key is start small. It's not a race. The next thing is time bound. Why start this afternoon, tomorrow? Try it for 1 week, then so on. 3, get rid of obstacles. So you know the ones, but I haven't got any decent trainers. I haven't got time. I haven't got enough money. Plus the negative self-talk in which you're telling yourself you're not worth it or why bother. So writing a list of your pros and cons of reaching your goal can really help address any barriers. So you're preempting them. So the real or perceived ones. When you focus on the cons, think about the likelihood of them actually occurring. So you need to take time with this. What can you do to proactively address those cons? The 4th one is share your plans with someone, a friend, a family, a coach, you know, a work colleague, or even online communities. Sharing your goals, again, as I said before, and how you are going to achieve them can really help you to commit to your goal and succeed. It's that accountability to help you with ownership. As well as this, using a journal to plan and examine your thoughts and reflections, such as a bullet journal, can be really helpful way to track the day activities and experiences. Planning the learning along the way is key to success. 5, create some urgency, but do things at your own pace. Don't put off until tomorrow. What can you do today, right now? What you do now is one step closer than yesterday. So if you can do it today, right now, then do so. You may want to improve your fitness, but the fear of not being able to walk or run fast enough to make a difference. Just get out and about anyway, and remember, you're lapping the person who is still sitting on the couch. It all comes back to those manageable chunks, those little steps. So let's get started by addressing your fears and apply these tips, strategies to get you motivated and on track to achieving your goals and outcomes. So if it's been really useful, please do leave and share comments and thoughts around this. Let me know how you are getting on. And if you wish to explore these fears in depth, then why not arrange a free discovery call with me at calendly.com/Zeenat Noorani. But if you want more details about any of my services that I offer, then visit my website at zeenatnoorani.com. Thank you for listening, and let's begin now.